Hello, everyone, and welcome to Flossy Ladies with Xyrus. My name is Elaine Bylis. Thank you so much for being here today. The purpose of Flossy Ladies is to interview different women in dentistry of different ages and different specialties. We're going to hear their stories, hear their challenges, and see how they overcame them. My guest today is a true jack of all trades. Her name is Dr. Kelly Tanner. Now, she started off as a dental assistant, and then she went on to become a registered dental hygienist. And then she went on even further to earn her PhD in organizational leadership. She now owns not one, but two dental companies. And in all of her free time, she also teaches. Dr. Kelly, thank you so much for being here today. How are we doing?
I'm wonderful. Thank you. It's such an honor to be with you, Dr. Elaine.
Okay, so I was hoping to just jump right in today. So, the purpose of Flossy Ladies, we want to hear about challenges that women in our field face along their journey, which you have had quite the journey. You might be the most educated human I've ever spoken to on this show. And so I was just hoping to hear, what type of challenges have you faced along your journey, and especially as a woman in the dental field?
Thank you for that question. We've all faced those, right? But and thinking and reflecting on this question, I tend to think of things as challenges as opportunities. So what I did is I sort of went way back in the Wayback Machine, and I was thinking, okay, what was my greatest one? So I grew up in the South. I'm in Virginia. It's not South, but I'm still South and part of a Southern culture. And growing up, the women had their roles. The women cooked, so Thanksgiving, okay, I'll draw it out for you. Thanksgiving, the women cooked, the men came and ate first. The men came and ate after. The women cleaned the kitchen. The guys disappeared outside to do whatever they do. And it was always like, assimilate, do what you're supposed to do, know your place, and you're to be seen and not heard. So, there was an internal conflict going on with me, because my parents always told me, you can do whatever you want to do. But I'm like, how am I supposed to do that if I'm not supposed to say anything? So then fast forward, I knew that I wanted to help people in the dental profession. And that internal conflict was like, okay, Kelly, who are you? It became like an identity crisis for me. Who are you, and what is it that you're supposed to be doing? Because you're not supposed to be heard. You're supposed to be doing all these things that the world expects of you and you want for yourself. And then, I started to branch out, and I was president of the Virginia Dental Hygienists Association. Got to know a lot of great people, figured out all the great opportunities that were out there for healthcare and dentistry to work together. And then I thought, okay, so this is cool. But what's very interesting when this happens, Elaine, is that people start to say, okay, I thought you were in clinical practice, and I thought you were teaching. And I've always had like a business and teaching and several different things going on. But it's like, I thought you were doing that. And so people would kind of go into their own limiting beliefs about what you should be. Because you're doing this, it's supposed to look like this. If that makes sense.
So how does that make you feel to know that, well, I mean, clearly you've risen above that idea of being seen and not heard. You own two companies, but to be always kind of told that, hey, you're just to be seen, your voice doesn't actually matter. How did that make you feel?
At first, it made me feel little, and it was all fear-based. And I think a lot of us go through that when we reach that threshold of growth. A lot of people qualified as being stuck, and you're just like, I have reached a cap. I'm ready to grow, but there's something inside of you that you're going, okay, how do I do this? So, also being a mom, I have 3 children. And they're all growing up now, but doing all that at the same time, it's like, I'm a mom, I'm a mompreneur, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm all these things. And then people would be like, well, how are you going to do all that well? How are you going to do all this and do all that? So what I said to myself is, I have to define myself on my own terms because I can't live on everyone else's terms. That's not my purpose. And, many of us feel this way. So I had to deconstruct that fear, Elaine, and because we are our most valuable asset. If we're not okay, nothing else is okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to take an empowered perspective, look at everything that I had experienced in my life and overcome that and teach it to my children and everyone else and just say, I understand, I get you. And then to think about too, what business am I really in?
Mm-hmm.
How do I want to show up for other people? Because part of determining our value and what we're doing in our life is how determined we are to that value. How determined we are to serve that value.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I thought about too, what am I really good at? What is it that I want to fall in love with every single day for the rest of my life? And then, it's so hard because early on I was doing stuff with like electronic health records. This was 17 years ago, Elaine. Like people in teledentistry, people were like, what is this nonsense? What is this alien being that you're talking about? And it's like, yeah, so I saw like way ahead and I'm like Medicaid reimbursement. And they're like, what do you know? And I'm like, but it's for real. Like it can really happen. Like think on this, right? So we have to know the thing is that I found is that I have to figure out my what I want to do and be really clear on that and to be true to myself. And then the universe and God and your higher power takes care of the how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just overcoming all of that self-doubt, all the fear, that imposter syndrome that people talk about.
Yeah.
Showing up the first day of work for any of us in the dental. I mean, you work in the practice with your father.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, every day. My goodness, they
are. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So you figured out your what, God figured out your how, but how the heck did you overcome this type of attitude about women? And how did you become this powerful CEO of two companies? What was it that you figured out to be able to reach where you are today?
Be vulnerable,
mm-hmm.
Be true to yourself. And it sounds as simple as that, but it's as complex as that. Mm-hmm. Because getting to the core of all of that vulnerability and to be inside of yourself to figure out what is my purpose of service on this earth and to live in that, connecting with others is huge. And because we all need each other and not being scared to take the next step. Because everything is figure outable, as we know. You can, as long as you've got that perseverance and that persistence, it's one foot in front of the other, and every step is progress. And so that's what I don't know. I'm just like, you know what? Here we go. Giddy up. Let's do this. I don't know what I'm doing most of the time, but that's how I think John Maxwell said it best. Fail, the letters of fail is FAIL. It's failure allows enables learning or something like that. It's like you have to fail first in order to learn. So it's all a part of the process. You cannot be scared, and to connect with those people who are your resources, and and even going to you and saying, Elaine, I really don't know how to do that. What am I doing? And you saying, Bill, I've got you. That builds community, and that helps us grow and learn about how we can help and serve others.
Wow. Okay. So speaking of reaching out to people who know better than you, so dentists, so we work in this field where we're very clinically focused, but then we end up being business owners. And I know that one of your two companies is a consulting company. And so I would love to hear, kind of just for my own information, just to hear what you see when you go into these practices. What are some common mistakes that you see? What is some advice that is common that you give to practices? So that way I can learn and pick your brain during the show.
Sure. Thank you for the question. It comes in so many different sizes, shapes, forms, because some of the offices that have been around for a while. They've been acquired, right? There's all different kinds of situations. So you have a new owner, or one's still there, one's transitioning out. You have situations where it's a brand new practice, dirt up, and they build up, but the people are the same. And what you hire for is, this, you hire for that attitude and that teamwork. That's what everyone wants. But there's usually, if there are issues, talking about people issues, it's usually an emotional intelligence type of situation where your people are not understanding each other. They're not communicating very well. And so it's going in, pulling apart that. I use DISC assessments, the driving forces, emotional intelligence. We learn our hot buttons. We learn how to effectively communicate. We can do one-on-one coaching, but that's just from the behavioral side of it. The rest of it is, when you bring in technology, I love technology, and you guys are the first to hear about it, but there's going to be an arm of the company. It's called RDH Tech Talk, where there's one single source of everything, where you come to next level dental hygiene and you learn everything technology that's out there, because dental hygienists, many of them, unless they're brand new and they're open to change, are scared to death, or they don't know about all the new technology that's coming. So a lot of times it's bridging the understanding, having everyone communicate in the same way, and make sure that everyone's why is met every day when they're in the office. And so there's a lot of little bitty micro actions towards that, but it's hard to even a la carte it and just to speak about it in one little bitty thing, because it's just such a broad issue. But we get to what I see as the end result is that teams end up understanding each other, speaking each other's language. It's kind of like this language barrier drops. They provide better patient care, which is what I'm here for. I'm here to help all systems, whether it's office systems, technology, improve oral health outcomes. It doesn't matter what it is. That's a general statement. So I am here to help all of that. People, the metacognition of your practices, because my PhD is in organizational leadership. And it's an organization. And that's why I chose this profession.
Wow. And okay, so one of your companies is the consulting company, and then the other one teaches leadership, which once again, a lot of us struggle to take that step and become a leader. So, and I know, so your leadership training goes to school-age children, but what are some common things that you see? What is some advice that you would give to people in our field in order to improve their leadership skills?
Oh, that's a good one. So the two companies are, one is dental related. It's next level dental hygiene. The other one is outside of dentistry. It, addresses basically anything else than dentistry, because people call me for those things too, like K through 12 or leadership, organization development. Common advice, listen. It's better to listen than it is to be heard. So you really need to listen to what people are saying, what they aren't saying, because in dentistry we get so myopic about the patients here. Let's do the things. Are they here? Are they not here? And we forget about the experience, the patient's experience. If we've told them everything, if we given them all the information to get them out the door, to help them understand, so they can schedule the treatment that they need, and give them all of their options. Have we covered all of that? What is your checklist and all that for efficiencies, making sure for quality assurance that patient experience is the best thing. So listening to what people are and are not saying, paying attention to that body language, because many people are, they don't like us. I don't know why. We're great people. I mean, right? We're the best people in the world, but they have these fear, they make these decisions. So I have several courses that I speak on, for emotional intelligence, art of communication with patients, but each other, and it's understanding and breaking down that communication barrier and managing conflict. People have difficulty managing conflict, but I think it's helpful to know your communication style, to know that other person's DISC assessment, to know what their hot buttons are. Because for me, I don't like to be told what I can and can't do. You come to me and say, hey, listen, this is like, I see a problem here. What can we do about it? I want to be involved. I know that there's probably a problem too, but I want to be involved in that and what's going on. I'll fix it. I want to help.
Wow, that is fascinating. But yeah, I truly believe that listening is one of the most important things that we can do in the field. So I love that you brought that up. That is a huge point. Doctor.
And then probably,
yes.
And then Elaine, I would say too, we have to learn how to delegate. Because, our days can be so, and then they were like, phew. And so to be able to delegate and do that well, and to know when you shouldn't be doing so, I would have to say, like, know yourself enough to know when to say, I need to be doing this. So I just thought of that one, and I thought that might be a good one to add.
It's really hard sometimes.
I know, because we want to do it all so quickly.
Yeah. No, it's
nobody else can do it as good as us. Nope, it's ours.
Yeah, that is so true. Oh my goodness. Dr. Kelly, I am loving your message of finding your why, overcoming the naysayers, and just keep persevering to do what you do best and what you can offer to this world. Absolutely amazing.
You have to be true to yourself to be able to serve others and what you're defined to do on this earth in this time. You can't be living someone else's dream of you. It's yours. You define what you want on your own terms.
Incredible. So to finish up for today, I would love to leave our viewers with one piece of advice from you that you think could benefit someone who's looking to follow in your footsteps, and to potentially, young women in our field who want to own a company or want to, rise above the traditional day-to-day clinical dentistry. What would your advice be to them?
Oh, that's a good one. Know what we've all heard this, right? And again, the minutia of it is the hard work. But why are you in dentistry? Why are you where you are? Are you really serving your soul to be there? And if you have like that me conflict, like I did, that internal conflict where it feels like, I don't know if I am where I'm supposed to be, or you feel like you've reached that threshold, start to journal, start to write out what you're feeling, start to connect with other people who can help you, to give you an unbiased opinion about what they see that are the strengths in you. Because usually when people compliment you on what they see in you, like if you say, hey, Elaine, tell me great things about me, those are usually the things that you're providing value in. And you can say, okay, that affirms that validates that. So journal, connect with others, and never doubt yourself. And do not let fear stop you for anything, because we will always figure it out.
Dr. Kelly, you are an absolute inspiration. I hope I can be just like you when I grow up.
Oh, I'm going to be just like you.
Amazing. We'll celebrate all of this one day. West Coast, Vegas, you and I.
Yeah, we've already decided we're going to Vegas. Girls trip.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being here today. For those of you watching, if you enjoyed this, please like, please comment, please share. If you have any questions for Dr. Kelly or myself, please leave a comment below. We would be more than happy to get back to you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have an amazing week.
Thank you, Elaine. Thanks. Bye.